All right, I think we're close to time. Let's get started. So, get settled on your mat. Find that comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you today. And remember always, throughout your practice, to be so gentle with yourself. There may be things, there are usually things you can't do on the mat. Even yoga instructors have days where there are things that they just can't do because of whatever is specific to their body. So always be gentle with yourself, especially if you're struggling. So again, finding that comfortable seated position. It may be an easy pose, it may be with your feet out in front of you, it may be in a chair. Just find a comfortable position that we can be in as we begin our pranayama practice. Pranayama is that breathing practice that is the core of yoga. So find that position, ground your sit bones down, lift up through the top of your head, crown, as if a ribbon is holding on to the top and gently lifting you up an inch or two taller. Find a comfortable place for your hands, wherever that may be. And start to come fully onto the mat. Let your day go, let your worries go, let your to-do list go. Knowing that you're going to take this time, the next 50 minutes, to just take care of yourself, to nurture yourself on the mat. Relax your shoulders, bring them gently back and down. And close your eyes and start to connect with that pranayama practice. Inhaling, completely filling the belly. And on that slow exhale, bringing the belly button in toward the spine, filling that emptying out. And follow the journey of the breath with your mind as we settle in. And while you're settling in, I'm going to share a very short story with you that I read that actually inspired this class. And it's from Kat Fowler. She's a yoga teacher in New York City. And she said this: when I was 18 and completely unsure of myself when I first started practicing yoga. I was insecure about who I was and where my life was going. I never felt like I was enough. This manifested in my body as poor posture, rounded shoulders, and a downward gaze, a stance I held in a subconscious attempt to hide myself. Gradually, my yoga practice revealed that being timid and fearful negatively affected the way I carried myself. Luckily, both practicing and teaching yoga has taught me how to make changes to my posture that not only radically shifted how I moved, but also transformed how I felt and how I presented myself to others. Over the years, I've worked on shifting my shy posture into one that's more powerful, with my shoulders drawn back and my heart shining forward. I found that very inspiring, and we are going to use those ideas as we move through practice today. Opening up through the chest, bringing the shoulders back, and presenting our most powerful and courageous self to the world. Let's start with a neck stretch. So reaching up with the right hand to the top of the head, reaching out with the left. Gently pull the ear down towards the shoulder, stretching out the muscles in the neck that help control our respiration. Great way to always start your practice. Some neck stretches, circles, whatever feels good to you. If you're in your personal practice, just make sure you start with some movement of the neck. Help release those neck muscles. Release and let the head float up and switch sides. Ooh, my neck is really tight today. I sat at the computer yesterday for a very long time and I can feel it. Staying with those deep, slow breaths and trying to relax those muscles or muscle groups in the neck, the sternocleidomastoids. Scalenes, just trying to release them all. You may need to move the neck around a bit. Just be gentle and reach through the fingertips. We're going to take 2 more breaths on this side. And then release. And again, let the head float up. Bringing the hands into prayer. I want you to bring them face down toward the fingertips, the Anjali Mudra here. Gently stretching the back of the neck. And then look up toward the ceiling and stretch the front. Opening up that center of communication and respiration. And one more. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Good. And release. Marvelous. Now, if you are cross-legged, I want you to switch which leg is on top. It's good to switch those out so that you get equal stretch in the glutes. All right. Now I want you, if this is possible for you, to interlace your fingers. For a long time I couldn't do this because of my RA. And then stretch the palms forward. Even if you're in some semblance of this is okay, right? Just do what you can. Trying to stretch out those tendons in the hands, stretch the wrists, the arms, the shoulders here. And then lift it up overhead. You can. You can't clasp your hands here, just reach them. I really used to not be able to do this at all. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Inhale. And exhale through the mouth. Inhale once more. Exhale through the mouth. Gently go to the side, your right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale left. And inhale back to center. Good. Shaking out the hands, rotating the wrists, whatever feels good right now. Clench fists, open. Even all these years later, in remission, I still feel that I have some arthritic damage. All right, so reaching behind you, clasp the hands behind you, and pull the shoulders down and back. And again, if you can't clasp your hands here, that is okay. But I want you to just reach the hands back if that's the case, and really pull the shoulders down away from the ears and back. If this is no problem for you, you can lift the hands up more in the back and gently lean forward, coming into a fold. You may not come very far, just come to where you feel some resistance. Inhale, exhale, and inhale back up. Good. And release. Let's take a couple of shoulder rolls, big ones. Reaching up toward the ears and back and down, forward and up and back and down and forward. And reverse it, pairing it with the breath. Excellent. Now, oh yes, if it's available to you, I want you to get into bound angle, which means you bring the soles of the feet together. It's also called cobbler pose and Sanskrit Baddha Konasana. So you can have your feet way away from your body, that's okay, or way close into the body, whatever feels good to you, okay? And I want you to grab your ankles or at the toes. Again, what feels right for your body today. Make sure your shoulders are down away from the ears. Gravity does the work in this pose. It's just gently pulling the knees down toward the mat. And you want to ground the sit bones down, press them down into your mat, into your chair, wherever you are, lifting up through the crown of the head, finding that beautiful length in your spine, and opening up through the chest. You can add a forward fold if you like. Make sure you get your elbows out of the way, right? And then come forward until you feel the resistance in your hip flexors, right? Just go to wherever you feel that resistance and then breathe into it. Imagine creating more space in those places, melting the tension that you hold there. You may only come an inch or two down. You want to keep that length in your spine and not round over, close across the chest. We're keeping it all open through class today. Let's take 2 more breaths here, wherever you are in this pose. Good. If you're in a fold, come back up. Bring the legs out in front of you. Shake them out. Woo. If needed. And again, come back into easy pose or whatever your comfortable seat was. And I want you to reach the arms up overhead in a Y shape. Ground the sit bones down again. Lift through the top of the head and reach through the fingertips. This is an energizing, invigorating, sorry, I can't talk today. This is an energizing, invigorating pose. Imagine just pulling energy into the body, down through the head, enlivening every cell of your being. Let's take one more deep, slow breath here. And exhale any tension through the mouth. And bring the hands back to prayer. We're going to move over into cat-cow. You can also do seated cat-cow, as we did last week, which would mean you bring the hands up here by the shoulders, reach your hands out like you're pressing the mat away around the back, and then you inhale, bringing the arms back, looking up, arching for cow, okay? If you're able, let's get over onto hands and knees, aligning knees and hips, wrists and shoulders. And we're gonna undulate the back with the flow of your breath. Always inhaling as you look up and drop the belly, and exhaling as you arch like the cat. Let's do 4 of these with the slow flow of your own breath. Now, you can stay here in table. If you need rest, go into child's pose. If you're able, tuck your toes and we'll push up into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha, and walk your dog. Even if you can only stay up here for a breath or two, just that's fine, whatever works for your body today. But if you're up, I want you to bend one knee and then the other, walking your dog. Try not to hold tension in the neck. Make sure your fingers are spread wide and you're putting some weight in your fingertips so your wrist doesn't get all that weight of the body. And then come down into child's pose. If that works for you. If you're in a chair, just fold forward over your legs. You can bring the arms out in front of you if you're on the mat. You can bring them behind you. You can open your knees up and rest your chest in between them if child's pose is uncomfortable because of a large chest. I like to bring my hands over my head in prayer. Get an additional stretch in the arms. Deep, slow breaths. Breath is the most important. It's the core of your practice. If you ever get out of breath, just stop whatever you're doing, get into a restful position like child's pose, and connect with the breath again, and then rejoin the practice. Let's take one more breath here. And then moving back through, table. We're going to take a couple of hip circles here. So with hip circles, you bring the hips forward toward the hands, way over toward the right side of the mat, back toward the heels, and way over to the left. So, big, slow movement. Exhaling as you reach your hips back towards your heels. inhaling as you come forward. Done a couple, switch directions. Feel pretty nice on the hips. If you're in a chair, you could do a side stretch and get some semblance of this hip stretch. Good. I want you to walk your hands out to the end of the mat for puppy and gently bring the chest down toward the mat, keeping the hips aligned over the knees. So you may need to walk your hands out pretty far. You can bring your forehead all the way down or your chin. Just go wherever wherever your body takes you today. On your next inhale, push back up, walk the hands back. Good. We're going to push up into down dog once more. Tugging the toes, lifting the seat up toward the sky. And then we're going to move into a lunge position. So if you can't do down dog, that's all right. Just make your way into a lunge if that's available to you. So I'm going to step my right foot between my hands and come into a runner's lunge. You want to reach the back heel toward the back of the mat. Lengthen in the spine, bring the shoulders back and down. Take a couple of breaths here. Remembering just to do what you can. Then I want you to bring the back knee down and come into low lunge. And you may just be here with your hands next to you. If it's available, bring the hands up to the knee and lift the torso up. And you can just stay here or add the arms, lifting up overhead, bringing the palms together and gently looking up, lifting through the top of the head, the fingertips, up and back. Crescent, low lunge. A couple of breaths here, whatever form of this pose you're in. When you're ready, come out of it, bringing the hands back on either side of that foot, lifting that back leg up and stepping the front foot back to meet the other one. Coming into down dog once more, we'll switch to the opposite side. Bring that left foot between the hands. Coming into a runner's lunge. You can go directly into that low lunge if that's easier for you than runner's lunge. Reach through the back heel if you're in runner's lunge. And then bring that knee down. And again, stay here or bring the hands to the knee or bring them up overhead. Let's take 2 more breaths here on this side. And when you're ready, bring the hands back down. We're going to move to down dog once more and then to standing. So however that works for you, lift the back leg, come back to down dog, or just move yourself to a standing position. When you're ready, step between the hands and come into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So fold forward over the legs. Try not to lock the knees. A little give to the knees. Legs are active, feet pressing down into the mat. Activate all the muscles in the legs and reach the hips toward the sky. But the upper body is just hanging out. Dead weight. You can grab opposite elbows if that feels good and shift your weight back and forth for ragdoll. Or you can drop your hands down, grab behind your calves, whatever feels best for you today. Adjust the camera just a bit. Again, letting gravity do most of the work here. The legs are active, staying with those deep, slow breaths. Imagine any tension in your body just rolling off of you, like water off a duck's back, down into the mat. Take a couple more breaths here. It's a very restorative pose. Maybe shake your head yes and no a couple of times. See if you can release any of the neck tension you may carry. Good. And I want you to bend your knees and roll up to standing, bringing the arms up and together, palms together, looking to the hands, and then bring the hands back to heart center. Good. Rotate the ankles if you need to. Okay, now, good. I want you to come into your mountain pose. Feet hip width apart. They can be touching if that feels better for you. You know when your body is in alignment, right? Our bodies are highly intelligent. Pressing the feet down into the floor, activating the legs, lifting that energy up. Slight tuck to the pelvis, shoulders back and down. Lift through the neck and through the crown of the head. And close your eyes for just a minute or two. Breathing deeply into the belly and feeling this perfect posture, this openness through the chest and heart center. We can face the world standing in our power. And I want you to bring the arms out to the side and back. And lift the gaze up toward the ceiling and shift your weight into your toes. I call this Titanic pose. Reaching through each fingertip, opening across the chest, lifting. know the breathing is constricted here, but stay with those deep breaths. One more breath. And release the arms down. Shake them out. Good. Okay. I want you to take the feet slightly apart. We're going to come into what's called core stance or goddess pose. Lots of names for the asanas, right? And in this pose, we're going to bring the arms out in what I call cactus arms and bring the hands into fists. And you want to squat down so the knees come slightly apart, right? And you can either just hold here or add a gentle fist pumping motion, fists of fire, right? Where you reach up overhead and pull down, okay? Reach up and pull down. Reach up, pull that energy down. And one more, reaching up and pull it down. Building a little bit of energy here. And then reach the hands up in the front and pull down. Pulling it right into the center. That solar plexus area, right? One more if you can. And coming back up. Bringing the feet back together. Standing in your mountain pose. Again, feeling that perfect posture. Feel any movement here, anything different in your core area. Shoulders back and down. Take a couple of breaths. We're going to do half sun salutations. I think we did that last week. So you want to come toward the front of your mat. Not to come very far. So we're not stepping back. Starting with the hands in prayer in your beautiful mountain pose. You want to inhale and reach the hands up, looking at the hands. And then swan dive forward, exhale. Come halfway up, with the hands just below the knees, the back parallel, exhale. Inhale all the way up, looking to the hands. Exhale back to center. And again, inhaling up, exhale forward. Inhale halfway, exhale forward. Inhale all the way, and exhale back to center. Let's do one more of these. Inhaling up, hold. Halfway, beautiful back. All the way up. And back to center. And take a breath or two here. Good. Now, coming back toward the back of the mat, we're going to do warrior two. Another one of these really empowering poses, like core stance. So, you're going to take a big step forward for warrior two, right? Bigger than normal. Put that back foot at an angle to the back of the mat. Turn the chest open to the side. Bring the arms out and lunge forward. Adjust your heel so that it is directly below the knee. And try to keep the knee from caving inward. You want to keep it really aligned here. Keep that chest open and your gaze is right over that front hand. Bringing all your energy up through the legs and forward. So you're facing an enemy of some sort, bringing all that warrior energy forward. Deep, slow breaths, and remember, just do what you can do here. This may be impossible for some people. Right now, that will change. Good. We're going to switch to peaceful warrior here, so flip the palms and bring one hand up overhead and your gaze up to that palm, almost like you're looking in a mirror. Take a breath here and come back through warrior two. And we're going to turn that front foot in and it becomes the back foot and the other foot out. Right? Bring the chest open to the side and turn into warrior two on the opposite side. Pressing both feet equally down into the mat. Feel that energy lifting you up and bringing you forward. Do what you can, pause when you need to. Deep, slow belly breaths. Filling that belly up like a balloon. Warriors that you are. Let's flip and do peaceful warrior. Gently resting that back hand on the leg. Looking up to that hand if it's available to you. Our last standing pose. And come back through warrior two. Bring the hands into prayer. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward bend. So you may want to bring the legs even further apart. Hands to the waist. We're going to bend at the waist. Make sure your toes are closer to one another than your heels. Slight pigeon toe here. And then bending at the waist, keeping the spine long. Just come to wherever you can. If you can touch the ground, great. Use the mat. You can hold on to the legs. Whatever feels good for you today. Try to release that upper back. This is a very restorative position. And stay here for 5 slow breaths. Breathing into the belly still. If you have difficulty getting down near the ground here, this is a good pose to use a yoga block in. You can have the block on its vertical or horizontal, according to the height that you need, and you rest your hands on that block. Sometimes a block is very helpful. We are going to make our way down onto our knees. That works for you today. And however you want to transition. I like to heel toe my feet together and come into Uttanasana one more time and then come down. But whatever transition works for you today. We're going to come into a kneeling position and try to tuck the toes under for what's called broken toe pose. So I have to physically tuck my pinky toes under because they don't tuck. This used to be absolutely excruciating to me, and I told my yoga teachers, I will never be able to do this. My body is not made that way. And here I am. This is so comfortable. I could sit here all day. It's crazy. So sit back on the heels if you can, even if it's just for a few seconds. Try to stretch out those tendons in the feet and adjust the camera. Okay. And then when you've had enough of that, tuck them under for thunderbolt pose and sit back. This is super easy. You can walk your hands back and get a little more of a stretch here. Let's take one more breath here. And then come over onto your seat. We're going to do bridge pose. So you want to bring your heels close into your seat, where when you're lying down and you reach your hands alongside your body, you can either reach your heels or almost reach your heels. Okay, that's a good tell. And then pigeon toe your feet a bit to protect your knees. Now you want to try to use arm strength here, not just the strength of your glutes and thighs, okay? So arms are down beside the body on the mat, palms down, and you really want to press down into the arms when you lift up. And when you lift up, make sure you lift on an inhale and stay with the breath. Also, don't move the neck, just to protect it. Keep the neck still. So inhale when you're ready and lift up, pressing the arms down into the mat. Tuck the shoulders slightly under, and you can walk the hands toward each other and clasp them underneath if that feels good to you. Lengthening the spine, maximum length from the base of the neck to the tailbone, to the knees. Hold and breathe, even if it's just briefly. When you are ready to come down, make sure you roll the spine down, letting the tailbone be the very last to land. Rolling down slowly on an exhale, placing each vertebra gently down on the mat, letting the tailbone be the very last to land. And once that tailbone lands down, bring the knees into the chest and hug them in like a best friend. Show them some love. All this hard work on the mat. Rock if it feels good. Take a hand to each knee and rotate the knees in a big circle, massaging that low back and sacral area. After you've done a couple in one direction, switch directions. works for you, bring the soles of the feet together. A reclined toddler pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Grabbing the ankles. Bringing the shoulders down to the mat, opening across the chest. Good. And then release, bring the knees back together once more. Open the arms out in a T shape. And drop the knees over toward the left side, looking to your right hand. You could also do any other recline twist that feels good to you. If this one doesn't work, there are many versions of recline twists. When you're ready to transition, do it on an inhale, gently pulling those knees back to center. Adjust, make sure your spine is in alignment once again. Hug the knees in, open the arms out, and drop the knees to the opposite side. Looking to that left hand, gently twisting in the opposite direction. And again on an inhale, bring those knees back to center. Rotate your ankles a couple of times. And point and flex the feet. I want you to bring the heels up toward the ceiling. If you have a wall nearby, you can do this against the wall. Legs up the wall. It is a seriously restorative position. If you do not have a wall nearby, you can use a strap, or you can do it with no props, I guess. Reaching the heels toward the ceiling, lifting out of the hips. Ideally, you'd have the wall, and if you have the wall, make sure you put your seat all the way up against the wall. This is such a great thing to do. It's wonderfully beneficial for the body and the mind. Bringing legs up the wall as I'm demonstrating here. You can bring the arms out to your sides. It's almost as restorative as Shavasana. So get in some semblance of this pose. It's going to be our last pose before Shavasana. And while you're in this pose, I want you to come back to that idea of opening across the chest, presenting yourself to the world in your power with courage and confidence. Facing your daily challenges, knowing that you have what it takes to overcome them. I believe in you. You got this. But it's much more important that you believe in you. When you feel ready, I want you to make your way to your most comfortable position on the mat for Shavasana, the most important pose of all. This is where the real work on the mat is done. So find that supremely comfortable position. Let your legs just fall apart from one another, the feet open out, arms out at your sides, maybe tuck the shoulders just a bit if that makes you more comfortable. If you have pillows, put one under your knees to release some of the pressure on the back. Maybe one under your head, of course. If you have something to cover your eyes, that is wonderful. If it's cold in your house, use a blanket. Whatever you can do to get yourself into that place where you can most get the benefit of this pose. And I want you to relax everything from head to toe. Relax the feet and the legs. Imagine them sinking down into the mat, becoming heavier, softer. Listen to the sound of my voice, eyes closed, allowing my voice to ground you in the present moment. No need to pay attention to the breath any longer, just letting it rise and fall in your own natural rhythm. Relax the hips and the torso. Knowing that all your organs are functioning perfectly in harmony, exactly as they are meant to. Relax the shoulders down, let them soften and sink into the floor, along with the arms, the hands, each fingertip. Relax the neck and head. Let it be heavy. Let the jaw soften. Let the tongue fall to the floor of your mouth and rest there. Imagine your eyes going a little more deeply down into the sockets. Soften that space between the brow, where we furrow our brow. Allow it to open up and relax completely. Even relax all the tiny muscles in the face and on the scalp. Thoughts may come up. Just imagine them floating by like clouds. Notice them and let them go. And allow yourself for the next few minutes to go into a state of deep and supremely healing relaxation. When you're ready to come back from this deeply relaxed state, really take your time transitioning, maybe moving fingers and toes and stretching, maybe rolling over onto one side and taking a few breaths there to transition. Eventually making your way back to whatever position works for you for closing as a community. I hope that through this practice today, you find more confidence and courage and perhaps some healing and some peace. Find that peaceful place within you, that still place that we can always connect to no matter what is happening externally. That you may carry that with you as you move through your day and into the days ahead. I'm so honored and grateful to be sharing these practices with you all. I wish you so much peace and healing and that courage that we spoke of today and every day. We close as always saying, the light within me recognizes and honors that light within you. Namaste.